name is Maria Romero Cañizares and I'm going to present you my practical one about classic and modern techniques. To begin with is the classic technique and its name table for one. First, I'm going to tell you about my thinking process. The term I chose was otherness because I haven't listened it before. So, searching on internet, the definitions reminds me about my past experience. I was in a Catholic and religious school, and I remember that they told us about the church as institution works like a complete body. So they say, well, I can do something related with body, face, hands, complete body, but after talking with my teacher Laura said, well, you don't have to transmit and to draw something related with people. So I rethink about the term and how I wanted to present it, and the first thing I say, well, I can do something about nature, something about flowers and so on, but I left that idea. So in class, our teachers saw us about this work of Evariste. It was a sculptor, and it's repetition 19. There are different kinds of glasses, and also they represent the society. Say, well, thank you. With my sister, say, well, you can do instead of glasses, cups. I say, well, they're quite similar. So rethinking, yes, I'm going to do sculpture, but what else? So I can do like a format table. So this represents for me the otherness because each one of the members of the table has a role, and without each one is difficult to read. But also I relate with a stereotype because somebody once tells this is the way to put format table, but in reality we don't follow that convention. The technique, at first I think about oil paint, but I left it. So I made some proofs with clay, but the results didn't fix me at all. So searching on my house, I find modeling clay. So this is how I do. I use pen, pencil, different shapes, because in a formal table there are glasses of wine, different types of wine, water, ten-pan, 3 plates, and so on. The second part is about the modern technique. There's a photo made by 3 of photos that I made, and the name was Colored Feelings. About my thinking process, I was pretty sure that I wanted to work with photography because I have a camera, that is the one is recording me, and I like to try with different settings, their limits and so on. So say, well, photo is a good idea. And then about the term, the concept that I wanted to work was geometry. Why? The classical one, I work with otherness and I work with stereotype, and this is one, the geometry was the one that I didn't start. The first thing that I remember was a work that I have made a couple of years ago about the identification and determination of spirals in the natural objects, like for example this. So said, we all know that in reality, in the natural world, flowers, animals have, even us, have like a geometry, and say, well, I can do a photography in relation with that. But the idea doesn't fix me at all. So a long time ago, one summer, I do a photography course. And one of the techniques that they're not necessary to need, for example, Photoshop editation, was the light painting. Now I'm going to tell about how it works light painting with the camera. Light painting is a technique that involves a camera setting. The device is camera shooting, that is like two slides that opens and close the objective and controls the light that is entering inside the camera. Depending on where are we going or we are going to take the picture, the time that is open is controlled automatically by the camera. Here is an example. The sound is the open and the close. There are two sounds. So to do light painting, we need to control this time. For example, I'm going to show you an example of 1 second. The two sounds are the time that is open the camera shooting. So, how I do it? I'm going to explain with the camera. I go to a dark room, I put the camera shutter between 8 and 20 seconds and I do movements with my light. So, every movement that I do is captured by the camera. But what I'm going to draw with the light? Well, after repeating thousands of times the term geometry, I said, well, there's a song in Spanish that is polysentimental geometry made by Fangoria. I can try to transmit my feelings in this quarantine with lights, some colors. I have this material that when it's put, it changes the color. So, my feelings. The red one was related with anxiety, with being inside, I can go outside. The blue for me was more calm, say well. And then the yellow for me was happiness. So for finishing this presentation, I want to say like a general conclusion, what I have learned. I've learned to organize myself, my thoughts and how transmit it into a paper. I have fear of this white paper, of what I'm going to do. Also, I realized that my past experience has a key role of my decision of my futures. So, thanks for listening, and that's the end of my presentation.